Hey folks, and welcome to week number 2. As I noted, this week we're going to start getting into kind of twice a week due dates. Okay, this is a big week. There's a lot of moving pieces to it. One of the reasons I like to put this to-do list together is so you can really go through and work on it chunk by chunk. All right, so by Monday, Monday is sort of that midweek check-in I like to do, and we'll often do something so that I can give you feedback in the middle of that, get that back to you. So, this week, watch the week 2 video. You're doing that right now. Complete the popular and scholarly sources. That's reading a couple sources, reading a quick passage from one of our e-texts, and then looking at 2 videos. Okay? Then begin our research discussion. In order to do that, you're going to listen to a podcast and then read this short popular article from the Ohio State University. And the other thing I want you to do is to and then you'll start the research discussion itself. I'll show you this in just a second. And then check in with your group in Google Chat. I'll walk you through that as well. By Thursday, I want you to look over the plagiarism materials. There's a number of different things here. That involves also a turned-in plagiarism quiz. We'll use Turnitin in class. It's plagiarism detection software, but they also have a little tutorial and a quiz that you can do. Ask you to screenshot or print screen that. There's a tutorial how to do that as well if you need to. If you have more questions about citations, put them up on the discussion board. And then look over the Essay 1 assignment. Read the Essay 1 assignment. That's going to be due February 6th, sort of beginning of the next unit. And look over the essay rubric. And then complete writing annotations. It's a folder as well, which asks you to view a video and then look at a sample annotation and then write an annotation of the scholarly article for essay number 1. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so again, as always, I'm just going to kind of link to everything that's in that to-do list down here. There's the week 2 video, which you're watching right now, and then of course we're going to get into all these folders. So the popular and scholarly sources folder, again, has that link to our e-text and the 2 videos. Please check out both those. You will need to have that information firmly in hand in order to do essay 1, okay? Then, popular scholarly discussion, okay? What you want to do here is listen to this, read this article, listen to this podcast in that order, and then engage in the research discussion round 1. As always, there's going to be a prompt here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. So this week, we read a press release from Ohio State about research performed by their scholars showing the relationship between vitamin D use and lung cancer. You also listened to the podcast about this press release and what inaccuracies it had, actually. That podcast talked about the difference between what the press release claimed and what the research actually showed. And so as a group, I want you guys, in your own words, to be able to explain what the press release got wrong about the scholarly research and whose fault it is that the popular article isn't clear or accurate. Okay? Let's think about that. Whose fault is it? Maybe the first question should be, is someone at fault? So I want you to write a post with some of the things the press release didn't clearly explain, or if you feel like those things have already been shared by your colleagues, you can respond to their posts. I don't need you to write a post in and of itself if you don't think there's anything to add, but you can go in and critique their post, clarify, add to them. I want to see real discussion here, okay? Your discussion will take place in a research discussion group, okay? My goal is for you guys to work with this group the entire semester long. The other thing I wanted you to do, let's get back to week number 2 here, in this group, is to check with your group on Google Chat. Let's do that real quick. So, because you guys are going to work with the same groups all semester long, I wanted to put you guys into these kind of cohort groups that you can work with. You'll do peer review with them as you get working on papers later in the semester. All of your research discussions will be with this group. We'll probably do 3 or 4 of those research discussions over the course of the semester. I want you guys to have sort of a way to communicate. So in your Gmail account, you should have, and I'm going to slide over a little bit further here so you can see this, mail, chat, spaces, and in the spaces section, you should have English 102 group and then a number. I'll have all of the groups. You will only have one of those groups because you're only in one of those groups. All I need you to do for this activity, so make sure you know where this is. You'll be able to see notifications in it. And then, come down add a message, say hi, introduce yourself to your group mates, whatever. Just a little something so that they know who you are. Okay? So, that is part C of number 2 for Monday. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close this folder because we've gone through it. And I'm going to close this folder because we've gone through it. All right. Now we're into the work that's due on Thursday. So Introduction to Essay 1. So here's the Essay 1 assignment. Here's the essay rubric. I will use this rubric all semester long when grading. Okay. There's also a link for possible topics. I'll talk about this in just a second. Let's go ahead and go in and take a look at that essay assignment. So here's our essay assignment. I'm going to note all of the essay assignments will look very similar. They're all going to have a set of requirements in the upper right-hand corner. They're going to have some context. Why am I assigning this piece in particular? An explanation of the assignment, and then some questions you might think about asking, more detailed criteria at the bottom. All 4 of your essay assignments are going to look pretty much like this. Now, the context here is we often get told in college classes, and even in our high school classes, I think we often heard, don't use popular sources in your school papers, right? Use scholarly sources. But there's little discussion as to why, other than the generic statement that scholarly sources are better. And that's true in some ways. In other ways, popular sources are fine. So what I want us to actually do in this essay is investigate the difference between popular and scholarly sources in one specific instance, okay? So what I want you to do is to choose a popular article that talks about a study. Often, news outlets will have articles with titles like, New study suggests 18 glasses of wine a day may prevent heart cancer, or heart disease. This is the sort of thing you want, okay? We'll also frequently see, a week later, one that says wine's bad for you. And then I think the average person is left looking at this going like, well, what am I supposed to do then? Should I be drinking it? Should I not be drinking it? Okay? Once you've found an article like this, I want you to find the scholarly study on which the original article is based. Okay? So if the article says, new study suggests, they're going to talk about a scholarly study. What we need to do is then find that scholarly study. Now, I have a list of samples. That's that essay 1 topic idea document that's linked right below this back in our in the D2L list of work. I actually recommend you use one of those pairings. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this from here. Okay, there are a lot of them in here. Okay, I tried to give you just a general idea of the topic, and then a link out to the popular article and the scholarly study. Okay, every one of these were things I just kind of saw in reading the news, scrolling Facebook, whatever, and I saw it and I went, oh, that's interesting. I'm curious as what the scholarly study actually says, and I went and found the two and put them together here for you guys. Now, if you are really interested in one of these topics, please just choose one of these. My strong recommendation is don't spend time trying to find a popular article and scholarly study pairing for this essay, but to use one of the ones I give you here that is specifically why I am giving it to you. Okay? So feel free to use one of these. If you have any issues with the links, please let me know. I don't always check. I get rid of some semester to semester and I add new ones semester to semester, but if a link goes bad, I often don't notice it until a student lets me know. So just give me a heads up and I will see what I can do. All right, so let's come back to the essay assignment here. Now, if you do want to find your own, you've got a very specific idea, you're really interested in a specific topic, I'm glad to work with you on this, but contact me right away so we can work together on finding one of those. Once you have both, I want you to read the popular article and the scholarly study, and then here is the kicker. The essay should focus on comparing the two and explaining whether the popular article was, as I like to call it, complete and correct. In short, it should answer the question, did the popular article get it right? In other words, if we only read the popular article, would we have an accurate understanding? I think we know that from the press release about Theodore Brasky's research on lung cancer and vitamins, after you guys have listened to the podcast, you'll see we wouldn't have a clear understanding of we wouldn't have an accurate understanding of the research. Just wouldn't. The popular article didn't do a good job. The question for you is, does your popular article do a good job? So, there's some questions we might think of asking. Does the scholarly research show what the popular article claims? If it claims the article claims it extends life or improves X, what degree does it really extend or improve? It's a percentage. What's that mean in practical terms? If it's a 30% increase in lung cancer and the lung cancer risk is already really, 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 really low, a 30% increase doesn't really mean anything in practical terms, okay? You can obviously read through the rest of these. Key points here, 3 to 4 pages, double-spaced. Quotations should be cited properly. Paraphrases should be cited appropriately, indicating both of those. We'll do some work on that next week. All right, back to the main page here. You will see, again, that link to possible topics. That's the same one I showed you while talking about the Essay 1 assignment. It's also linked on the Essay 1 assignment. The rubric, please take a look at that. Don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. If you do want to find your own article, here's a quick video on how to find those and what I did actually to start putting this assignment together. It sort of gives you an idea of how I found all of these articles. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this folder. Plagiarism, there's a quick link. Did I plagiarize? Ethical use and citing sources. The Turnitin plagiarism quiz. I do ask you take a screenshot of that and upload it here. If you run into any problems, please, again, reach out. Worst case scenario, use your phone to take a picture of your computer screen and just submit it from your phone. You can do that. Won't be a problem. If you do have any additional questions about citation and plagiarism, please note those here, and I'll try to answer them next week. Finally, writing annotations. My students love to tell me that they know how to write annotations because they learned how to do it in high school. And they did. You guys all learned a very specific type of annotation about taking notes in the text in high school. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do this semester is to push past that and actually turn those notes into a written kind of summary and review of the article or the study that you're looking at. So there's a video here on how to write an annotation and a sample annotation. Please take a few minutes to look at them so that you familiarize yourself with what I'm asking for when it comes to an annotation. And then right here should be an annotation of the scholarly study for Essay 1. Okay, and we'll see that, of course, up on the to-do list up here, right? All the way down at the bottom. An annotation of the scholarly study from Essay 1. Okay, that's everything for this week. I know it's a lot of little pieces. You'll get used to this as we move forward. Don't hesitate to reach out. I am here to help.